Welcome to This Just In with This Just In. Justin Core as your host. This is a show where we take a deeper dive into the stories most important to you with the people who bring you those stories. And our core correspondent today, the new captain of the 208 ship. It's Hunter Funk, everybody. You, just a second ago, were yawning and complaining about having to be up at 6:30. And I'm like, girl, my alarm went off at 2:45.
Okay, to be fair, though, you get to go home around, 1? I have
Maybe
to
earlier
stay here.
Than that. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, that's true. Then you saw the salespeople walking by. We're recording this at 9:15. You're like, why are they up so early?
Yeah.
That's true. Salespeople, I thought, rolled in at 10 a.m.
I did
and
too.
were done
I
by
really
noon.
did.
Also, thank you for your work, salespeople. It's how we can afford this futuristic studio. Hunter Funk, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
First, let's start with that, the 208. What's
Yeah.
got you most excited about being the now captain of that ship?
I mean, I gotta be honest. I was terrified.
Oh.
I was terrified. I was like, I'm not sure if I want this. I was scared a little bit because it's been such a legacy. So many people talk about it, and it's different. It's all Idaho-centric, and it's so hard, right, to just be only Idaho-centric and not be able to talk about anything else outside of Idaho. So I think that's what I was scared about, but I'm really excited because we're still doing it, and it's still happening, and we get to make it our own now. Brian had such a legacy when he was doing this, but now I kind of get to take a little bit of what he's done, but also take a little bit of my flavor and just make it something special. So I'm excited, but I was terrified at first.
And you talk about it being Idaho-centric. That's so critical, though, because people are demanding that local news on those local issues, and you're going to keep bringing that to them. That's probably the big thing, I guess, that's not changing about the 208.
We're still covering the legislature. We still care about that. We still care about the Idaho stories, the quirky, the weird, the serious, whatever it may be. We're still leaning into those. And viewer comments, we're kind of ramping up into those too.
We are going to get into maybe some of those viewer comments in a second. First, though, what's going to change about the 208? You said maybe more viewer comments. What else? Just sort of your flair on there? Yeah,
flair. Things are going to be a little bit faster paced. So we usually do longer form storytelling on the 208. But I think we're open to doing shorter. We're still going to do long, but we're going to have a lot shorter. We're also incorporating more of the news that's happening today into this show, because I think trying to go out and expect people to find these stories and consistently turn these long form stories every single day has been one of our challenges. And that's part of a potential burnout. And so incorporating the news and breaking down the news of what you see, at your 6 o'clock, at your 4 o'clock, we're going to just dive deeper into those and keep that conversation going. But it's a little bit different because we didn't usually do that. So
well, and often, as you know, national stories are also Idaho stories, especially if they are in regard to immigration, agriculture, things like that, big issues here in the state. So that still affects Idaho, and it's still a connection you're drawing there on the 208. What are some of the cool things you have coming up?
Cool things coming up. I mean, obviously, legislature is kind of top of mind.
Yeah.
We're also. Should I give it away? Yeah. So we're also discussing a new segment potentially. So right now there's a trend called 2016 to 2026. Everybody's calling 2026 the new 2016 So we're looking back. I didn't have eyebrows then, so that was a whole nother thing. We will be revealing those photos. We'll share those later.
You didn't have eyebrows?
Yeah,
what happened?
They chopped them. It was really bad. It was rough. It was rough. But I really came through. I got eyebrows now. But yeah, so that's a new little thing that we might be implementing here soon.
Okay.
So
looking forward to that. Oh, you talked about comments.
Yes.
That really sets the 208 apart, I think, more than many other shows. What are some of the most interesting or fiery comments you've already gotten for the 208?
I mean, the most recent one was, you said you're doing more viewer comments and you're not doing more viewer comments.
The first big comment was on the comment.
Yes, and I was like, hold me accountable. I like it. But to be fair, it's kind of been a week where, we haven't really had great ones to pull. I really want people who are asking questions so maybe we can answer them or adding input, but I don't necessarily, speaking your mind is totally fine. We're okay with that. But I also just don't want to come off as biased, right? Or anything along those lines. So it just kind of depends. But we're leaning into it. We're really trying to figure it out. But be patient with us because we're trying to figure out how we can do them on the fly a little bit more often. And we have, though. We did like a baby name segment top in Ada County and Canyon County. And we got comments from viewers popping in. We threw those in. So we're doing it. Just sometimes you got to we're getting there. We're getting the ball rolling.
Oh my gosh. What was your most surprising baby name that people are naming their kids now? So for me, I don't know if this has changed. It maybe has. A lot of parents naming their kid Nevaeh, which is heaven spelled backwards. And that is promising a lot for that kid. It's like people who name their kids Prince or King or Queen. It's like, whoa. That's a lot of pressure. I mean, good for you, but also, if your kid is crying, throwing a fit in the middle of the grocery store, I'm not thinking, wow, sounds like heaven. So I'm just, no offense, parents of kids of Nevaehs. But anyway, speaking of the comments, you talked about how it seems like, because I go through them all the time.
Yes.
It's a morning tradition for me. Get off the show. It's like, let's see what people are mad about. And they are some fiery comments, but also nuance is really appreciated, I would think, where it's not just sort of the same comments that you see under Instagram posts or whatever, being like, this guy's great. No, he's terrible. This thing is great. No, it's terrible. It's like, okay, but like, why? Why do you feel that? Maybe a personal experience, or as you said, a question, so you can actually do some work and clarify some issues that people are facing. Yeah,
or even just kind comments are awesome. It's awesome. I will say the response to the 208 change has been very positive.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful for that because I feel like I was stepping into a role that, people didn't want change, and now here it is. It's changed and you're taking over something that somebody else was doing really well. So anyways, it's been really positive. We love positive comments.
Yes, change is very hard, but I saw those comments as well. Everybody seems to love you on the show.
So far, so good.
Okay, well.
Fingers crossed.
Don't be afraid to make people mad. Speaking of which, I have had very few comments on this show, even though I solicit them all the time. Can you help me answer some of the recent ones?
Okay.
That are maybe just confusing. Okay. Quote, I have a suggestion for the podcast that what's his name does and was asking for suggestions.
Are you sure it's yours? I'm just kidding.
It is. I don't know. I mean,
the only podcast.
Again, don't get enough comments for me to think it's anyone else's, so I'm just claiming it.
Yeah.
Maybe you could see if the first Great Boys State quarterback Jim McMillan still lives in the area. Morgan Romero responded and was like, do you mean Justin? And the person was like, yes, we want to hear about his Irish roots. So now the question is, Jim McMillan's Irish roots?
Or yours?
Or mine? Can you help me clarify that? Any idea?
Do you have Irish roots?
Funny you should ask. So Jim McMillan, if you didn't know, only Bronco to have his number retired, number 12. Great high school coach at Homedale for a long time. McMillan is a Scottish name, just like Core is. So, like, some of them probably immigrated to Ireland and came back, but I don't know if Jim McMillan has Irish roots. I probably have some Irish roots. There is a Core Castle in Dublin, no big deal. I don't own it, but...
I don't own it.
But a Scottish name. So,
I have a fix-all.
Okay.
Just bring him on, and you guys can talk about
Jimmy.
If you have any sort of
where you're from.
Togetherness.
Yes.
You talk about both of your potential Irish roots.
Good idea. Jim McMillan, if you're watching, maybe you're not, but let me know. Reach out. All right. Next one. Quote, Dear Justin, please don't use the word pre-schedule. The use of pre is incorrect and used much too often. Pre means before. One can't schedule before one schedules. So ironically, they used the wrong form of to. Should have been TOO. Incorrect in my grammar. Hunter, how often have you had your grammar corrected incorrectly, though?
Okay, so this wasn't here, so everybody's super kind. But in one of my markets, I said, and this gets people heated, but I said picture. Or no. I said picture.
Picture, yes.
And they wanted me to say picture.
Picture.
And it was so, I got to be honest, sometimes your enunciation, you're talking, this was a morning show, you're talking a lot, you're just moving and grooving.
100%.
I got my pronunciation wrong on that one. Yeah, I got eaten alive.
That's fine, though. Also, we're in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on. You've got like a softened.
Y'all?
Do you want to go take a
pronunciation
picture?
of a lot of things in North Carolina is wrong. So, no, I keep that up. It sounds folksy.
It's a lot of enunciation on a word. Picture.
Sure,
You
don't have to pronounce every single letter. I say gonna a lot, and that's okay because I'm from here. And here we say gonna. All right?
We say gonna.
Both of us
And
Idaho
the borrow
folks.
pit, you know?
Also, yes.
Yes.
My dad said that. It's like my mom was talking about accidentally taking the car into the ditch, and my dad was like, "Oh my gosh, we got to drag it out of the irrigation ditch," and she was like, "No, it's just a little ditch beside the road." He's like, "No, that's a borrow pit."
Yeah, you borrow the pit.
Yes.
Yes.
You borrowed the dirt to build the road. Borrow pit. Alrighty, she had never heard that before. Also, a comment I see on there a lot is about Hector Mendoza's hair.
Poor guy, man. I see those coming all the time.
Get that cut. He got it cut for a promo shoot, and then
Not
people
good
were
enough.
like, not good enough. Get a different cut. You can't reverse a haircut, people. Do you get... That's Andy back there just whiling. He's got that buzzer ready for American Falls trivia later. Do you get a lot of comments on your hair or whether or not you should wear a tie now that you're on the
Okay,
208?
so hair, thankfully not.
Nice.
Listen, you're going to get what you're going to get with this thing. Like, it's hard to control this.
Looks great. Are you kidding me?
It's a lot better than North Carolina humidity when I was in that market because my hair was born and raised in Idaho. It's used to dry
climate, yes.
So better. But when it comes to ties, they've been asking if we're bringing back ties. Right now, I think we're set on no because like that was a thing, and it gets people either spicy or like stoked about something new. So we're keeping that. But the other question that I get a lot is, where's your plaid? I only own one plaid top right now, and I can't keep wearing it. So if I can find some cute ones from like a thrift store or something, maybe.
That was Brian's thing. He can go ahead and do that. I do also not own plaid. Well, You do you, Hunter. Okay. I think that's what we've learned.
I got to figure out what the brand is, right? Like, what is my niche?
Yeah.
Moment.
You're still trying to figure that out. And honestly, it took Brian a bit to do that as well for the 208. So people still love it, love what you're doing. So congratulations.
I do have to say this. Somebody did get me a clip-on tie, though. And they said, you might need this.
She doesn't need that. We have
but it was so
a
sweet.
Ton of ties just literally lying around.
Yeah, but I can't tie those. I need the clip-on.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so.
I'll do a little class for you here.
Yeah.
Okay, Hunter making Inside Ag an institution as well. That's next on This Just In. Welcome back to This Just In with your correspondent, Hunter Funk, new president aficionado of the 208.
I think I keep getting new titles.
Yes, you're the president of the 208.
Wow,
you're also
CEO. Not really CEO.
You're also the CEO/czar of Inside Ag.
Yes.
How'd that start? How's it going? Seems to be doing great.
Yes. Okay, so this whole thing started after a 7 listens. I wasn't even a part of this. So I'm really proud. All of this was happening as I was coming to Idaho. But Sierra, one of our producers, Kim, also one of our management staff, they were listening at the 7 listens from farmers and just hearing that there wasn't a big coverage when it came to agriculture. And that was kind of one of our gaps. So that's when they took it into their own hands and decided, okay, we need to make this a series. We need to make sure that we're dedicating time to farmers. So full circle, once I got here, we kind of refined the fact that I was going to take it over with them. Yeah. I have to give major credit to Sierra and Kim because they've just, they're booking some of these interviews. They're making it really possible, and they're doing the deep dives too along with me. But yeah, that's kind of how it all came to be.
Yeah. Well, it's really cool, and people might not understand, but you tell those stories every week on Inside Ag, how big the agricultural industry is for the state and literally for everyone in the state.
Yeah.
If you eat food and if you live in the state, the agricultural industry certainly affects you. And now you have a sponsor, the Farm Bureau. Congratulations. Also, how can I get a sponsor?
You gotta go to a lot of meet and greets and say, hey. But then that didn't even work. Sales ended up pulling through and finding someone, which
Well,
Yeah.
they're walking around so early this morning, so I'll
Go
grab
get
one
'em,
of them.
yeah.
Alrighty. Let's take a look at one of your recent Inside Ags, where you talk about how lawmakers are having to tighten the state's belt this year, except when it comes to ag, hopefully.
In a year of budgets tightening,
Some of these budget decisions are tough, but we will emerge stronger in the long run because of them.
Idaho leaders say some things are negotiable. But water is not one of them.
As we're balancing everywhere else, that's one place that we can't afford to cut because it'll have, such drastic consequences down the road.
Lieutenant Governor Scott Bedke says he and other lawmakers are planning to keep the $30 million a year in water infrastructure funding. Because in Idaho, water isn't optional.
Water makes our state go. Ag makes our state go. Ag is the glue in many of our communities. And so we're going to take care of that.
But protecting agriculture goes beyond water. Roger Batt with the Idaho Eastern Oregon Seed Association says it's about keeping ag land in production.
But what we're trying to do this year is provide incentive for people to want to voluntarily get into this program with the financial aspect to it. So what we would do is we would have a fee assessed for farmland that's being taken out of production, going into a non-farm use. A fee would be assessed to that. It would go to the soil water conservation districts across the state, and then allocated on an annual basis to the landowners who have been approved through these ag protection areas.
This wouldn't tap into state dollars. Think of it like an impact fee. Only new growth pays for no growth. And producers would voluntarily sign up to protect their land for 20 years in order to get paid. Labor is another pressure point. The Idaho Dairymen's and Snake River Sugar Beet Growers Association say they're bracing for renewed debate over mandatory E-Verify, while urging lawmakers to let federal solutions come first.
We do expect that we're going to have to play defense a fair amount when it comes to bills directed at our labor force, and we fully expect that we're going to see E-Verify proposals come at us, and going to have to work with the legislature to try and find some middle ground there to where we fully agree we have to have a secure border, we have to have enforcement of our immigration laws, but we also have to do it in a way that doesn't damage our economy.
If that were to pass in Idaho, that creates a burden on our small family farms, administratively.
Food policy is also on the table. Dairy leaders want clarity, so high-protein bars made with milk and whey aren't classified as candy, keeping them eligible for SNAP and WIC benefits.
So we want to make sure that you get good nutritious products like dairy into those benefits so that you're getting the biggest bang for the buck on those purchases for those consumers.
And sugar beet growers are pushing back against artificial sweeteners in school lunches, urging a shift toward real sugar sourced from Idaho farms.
Aspartame, sucralose, these are all artificial sweeteners, chemical additives. They are finding their way into some products that are served in school lunches like yogurts and granola bars. Obviously, we're a huge proponent of using real sugar in products that comes from plants, comes from sugar beets. And so we're just, hoping to promote that at a state level and send that signal to Congress that parents don't want these products in school lunches.
All right, first, water infrastructure. Lieutenant Governor Scott Bedke loves talking about water. Irrigation, it's his big thing, but he's passionate about it for a reason. Did you feel his passion for irrigation and water?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think they spent a lot of time in those meetings too. Obviously, he's got the background in agriculture that he knows for a fact that it's needed and it helps run his operation. Along with all of his friends.
Well, it's like most of the state is a desert, so it's like, how are you going to grow stuff in a desert?
Yeah.
Well, it's the irrigation, the water coming down the mountains. So it's big. It's big to continue to think about that. Roger Batt talked about taking farmland out of circulation, how to conserve it. You've done stories on that specifically. How big of a problem is that?
I mean, this is huge. I think I can't remember the year span. I think within maybe 10 years or something along those lines. I mean, we lost like 10,000. I need the numbers on that. We've lost a lot of acres. Thousands of acres, which is concerning, right? Because once it gets turned into like a housing property, commercial property, whatever it is, it's gone forever.
Yeah, it's not coming back.
Yeah. And then we just lose the amount that we're producing, and most of our crops end up getting shipped out of state because we can't eat it all. Right. And that hurts our economy because it's a huge driver for our economy. So, he was talking about, I love this. It's kind of like impact fees, But impact fees, growth pays for growth. In this situation, yeah, it's growth not paying for growth because you want it to remain the same.
Also, Idaho Dairymen's Association talked about their workforce being targeted. Immigrant labor is what we're talking about there. What is E-Verify? How does that work? What are they sort of looking to protect this year?
So pretty much when it comes to E-Verify, this is a conversation that gets brought up. I mean, we saw it last year in the legislature, or during session. It's pretty much where they go through and they can verify somebody's status
Gotcha.
to work. And
Yes.
the challenge with this is that sometimes they can't genuinely verify all those documents, or they try to. There's a lot of logistics to it. What they want to see, because yes, they want to hire, people who can be here and do all the things, but
Yes.
they want federal to take it over because
Yeah.
they're already working on setting guidelines. So they don't want the state to have to make a guideline, then go back on that guideline and just make more issues in the long run. So they just want to see that happen at the federal level.
It seems more of a federal issue, and they
Yeah.
want to hire people who can work here legally, but at the same time, they just need workers, so they want to do it the right way.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
H2A doesn't work for dairy, so that's another
No,
challenge
it's
too.
seasonal, and dairy
Yeah.
is
All
year-round.
year round, yeah.
Year-round. All right. Really cool. We'll keep an eye on all of that this year. If you don't know, Hunter is an Idaho gal growing up in American Falls, but how much does she know about American Falls?
I know
Hometown
it all.
trivia. Next. Welcome back to This Just In with Hunter Funk. Hunter has been on the show a number of times. We have yet to do hometown trivia with her, though. We're doing that here.
Now I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, you maybe should be. You were really confident before the show. You were like, I'm going to go 6 for 6. I'm going to dominate this. We'll see. And then right before, during the break,
I
you're
realized
like
I didn't
Googling
look up something.
furiously.
I was like, wait a minute.
No, are
Okay.
you ready for American Falls hometown trivia? Hunter Funk.
He
All right.
didn't put this on my sheet, so I couldn't
No,
prepare.
I didn't want you to research it. When was American Falls settled? Not founded. Settled.
Okay.
Hold on. It's
Okay.
multiple choice. 1800, 1825, 1925.
1800s.
But like,
1800, I would say.
yeah.
Thank you.
Dang.
That's
okay.
because the town moved twice, and that's when the first town was founded. Anyways, keep going.
Jeez. Well, you're going to get this one. American Falls is the first town in the U.S. to be what? Named after a waterfall, entirely relocated, or washed away by a flood?
Entirely relocated, and it was the largest town relocation movement of its time. So,
Wow, you should have been confident. You are nailing this. Okay. Because of that relocation they were building American Falls Dam. When was it built? And it took a number of years, so we're talking decades here. Was it built in the 1850s, the 1890s, or the 1920s?
well, so they all relocated in 1925, so I'm going to say 1920s is when it was built.
Jeez. Hunter, you were right to be confident. You are dominating
I
right
love
now.
my town.
Getting so quickly, Andy
Yeah.
wasn't even able to get on the ding, ding, ding buzzer, or I wasn't giving him enough time. Okay, you are 3 for 3 so far.
Okay.
There are 6 questions. You've guaranteed yourself at least 50% right, which
Okay.
is much better than I did on Meridian, Idaho trivia. Sorry, Meridian. Okay. 12th governor of Idaho was from American Falls. Can you name them?
This one's not multiple choice?
No. I can. All right, you've done so well, I can give you some multiple choices. Was it Andrew Hargraves? Was it Casey Kane? Was it D.W. Davis?
D.W. Davis.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. I cheated on that, so that's a half point.
You cheated?
Well, no, I
Are you
didn't. No.
looking at my paper?
I didn't cheat. I made you come up with multiple choice, so that's
Yeah.
my cheating.
Nah, it counts. It
That
counts.
was a good question, though.
I thought so. You are dominating. Good for you. Randy Jensen, a principal at this middle school in American Falls, was awarded the National Principal of Secondary Schools Award. Which middle school?
William Thomas Middle School. But he is now the superintendent, so that's kind of old. He's big time now.
Well, I'm saying back when he won it. All right.
Oh, right.
American Falls is
He
the
was my middle school
final
principal.
question. You could get 100%. Oh, that's awesome.
I know.
American Falls. Final question. The hometown of this new 208 anchor sitting right across from me.
Hunter. Wait, what? Will you read it again?
No, you got it. It's you.
Hunter
It's
Funk.
Hunter Funk. Hunter
Home of the
Funk.
Beavers.
6 for 6.
Yeah. See, the governor one was good though. I knew the name, but I couldn't do it off the
You
top
needed
of my
to hear
head.
it. That's
Yeah.
fine. You still went 6 for
Yeah.
6. Well done.
Thank you.
Idaho gal.
American
through
Falls, see me out there.
and
Yeah.
through. Hunter, thank you for your time. If you got comments, questions, maybe more American Falls trivia that Hunter will nail, text them 208-321-5614. You got comments about my hair, I'll take that as well. Hashtag Justin.
Just talk to Justin, man.
Just talk to me. Although there is going to be no criticism of this. That is gorgeous.
The confidence.
I paid a lot for that toupee. Thanks for watching this Just In.